You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
I got you. All right. Sorry about that.
you. It's fine. All
I
right,
was trying.
this is awesome. Thank you so much for coming on.
No, looking forward to it.
Me
So
too. It's awesome. Well, I'll introduce you and we can get into it.
sounds great.
All right. Welcome back to the Lax Locker Room. Today we're joined by Coach Ken Lovic, head coach of Georgia Tech's men's lacrosse, one of the top MCLA programs in the country. We're talking MCLA versus NCAA, recruiting, and how to find your path to playing college lacrosse. Thanks for being here, and let's welcome Coach Lovic. Thank you so much
Thanks,
for,
sir.
absolutely, thanks so much for coming on.
No, I appreciate the opportunity. Looking forward to having a chat with you. I have a 13-year-old son, so I'm curious to see how this is going to go.
Yeah, absolutely. So for people that like may not know you, can you tell us like a little bit about your lacrosse journey and how you ended up coaching at Georgia Tech?
Sure. I mean, to go back a few years ago, when I was about 10 or 11, I moved from Rhode Island to Baltimore, and knew nothing about lacrosse and just had a hockey stick and was walking around the neighborhood trying to meet people, and no one had a hockey stick. Everyone had lacrosse sticks. So quickly found out about the sport of lacrosse and was, great growing up in Baltimore with so much great lacrosse history there. Played at St. Paul's for middle school, then to Loyola Blakefield for high school. Uh, Played a little bit for James Madison when I was in college. And then came down to Georgia Tech for grad school. I was right during the Olympics back in '96 and just kind of walked out in the field one day and asked the current coach if he needed any help. And sort of the rest is history. I've been the head coach ever since '97.
That's awesome. So you've been there for a long time then, huh? You've built a good
Yeah, that's
relation. That's
30,
cool.
yeah, 30th year as head coach. So yeah, it's been a long journey for sure.
Yeah. What was it like growing up in La Crosse, Paris area, like Maryland? What was
Oh, it
your favorite?
was.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. No, sorry. Yeah, it was amazing because I mean, again, I was already years behind some of these kids, being 11 or so when I first started. So
Yeah,
playing catch up with some of these kids took a long time, but I don't think I ever actually got there. But it was certainly fun playing and learning from so many great coaches and so many great players, and seeing every weekend going down to Towson or Loyola or Hopkins and watching college games. And then on Sundays, you'd go watch the men's adult games like Mount Washington Tavern, Green Turtle, those guys, and seeing sort of the guys were just out of college, still playing ball on Sunday, and just, I mean, just
yeah.
soaking it all up.
Absolutely. What like motivated you to keep doing it every day? Like, because you said hockey was your sport, so how did like trying a new sport like lacrosse, like what motivated you to do that every day?
To make sure I wasn't the worst kid on the team.
Gotcha.
Like I said, I mean, I had some really good friends of mine who, I was lucky enough to spend a lot of time with. Bob Wright was in my neighborhood, who went on to play at Salisbury and Towson. We'd play catch every day, or invented lacrosse golf in our neighborhood, which is sort of like a version of frisbee golf. We just go around the
Yeah,
neighborhood, playing, picking trees or people's sheds or whatever. And so it was always as you know, probably growing up in Virginia, it's about having that stick in your hand as much as possible.
absolutely. What was your favorite part about playing at Loyola Blakefield in the MIA?
I think like anything when you're on a team, it's just about being a part of that team. I mean, that's the best part. I mean, that you're representing your school, wearing that jersey, getting wins obviously over your arch rivals if you can,
Yeah,
especially Calvert Hall for us. But really it's about representing the school, no different than coaching the same way, representing the school, and being proud to do that, and being able to wear those colors.
absolutely. Like playing, what were some of the biggest games for you at Loyola Blakefield?
It's always the arch rival games when you're playing against, Calvert Hall. The big Calvert Hall Loyola, showdown was always the big, whether it was football, whether it's basketball, lacrosse. I
Yeah,
mean, that's your highlight game. I mean, obviously Gilman and, Mount St. Joe's, you going down the list, McDonough are all great programs and great schools, but it was about beating the Hall.
that's awesome. What was it like attending JMU? Did you play lacrosse there?
I did. I played in the club team they had there at the time, for a couple of years. But pretty much, it was a little different, club lacrosse experience back then. It was
Yeah.
certainly fun, don't get me wrong. But, I played for at least a couple of years when I was there at James Madison, and had a good time with it, and, made some good friends, and got to travel to some other schools I probably would have never gone to, just for
Yeah,
the competition. So, again, good experience. It's what you make of it.
absolutely. What made you really want to coach in the first place?
I think it's because I was bored and I missed the sport when I first came down to grad school. I was like, hey, I really missed the sport because I had graduated college and actually went to work in Baltimore at Back Rack. If you've ever heard of that old lacrosse company that used to make old bucket, they used to make the original helmets. The 33 LHNs is what everybody wore before Cascade came along. So I worked there in their sales part with the catalog mail order sales, pardon me, right out of college, and so it was around lacrosse still. Then obviously, I mean, constantly around it at that point. But then when I came down to grad school, I wasn't sure what to expect coming down to the South. I didn't really know much about Atlanta or anything else down here.
Yeah.
And some of your older fans that listen to this will love it that Lefty Driesell, who was the old Maryland coach for basketball, had just come down to Georgia State, which is here in Atlanta. So it was kind of a quick connection for me. But really, when I saw that there was a team out there, I was super excited and bonded with
Yeah.
those guys right away. And like I said, I haven't looked back.
Absolutely. That's cool that you've been coaching there for like 30 years. So, like everyone that has probably gone there has known you and will know you for for as long as they'll remember. Um like when you go back and think about it, what are some things that you think you could have done better like from where you are now?
You know, and I apologize on my Wi-Fi can be weird here in the house, but the it from back in 97, 98, we were packing vans, trying to find players on campus, setting up tables, anything we could to find a player to play for us. So just finding athletes. To fast forwarding now, we have equipment deals, we have a big recruiting section that we work with. I mean, daily. The travels and charter buses and nicer hotels. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a big change from where, and really it's because of the players. We would sit down with them at the end of each season and say, what do we want to do better next year? What do we want to add? What do we want to do? And so the alumni who come back now that play with me, that played for me 20 years ago, are blown away at the product that we've developed. And a lot of it's due to them. And I keep trying to tell them every success we have is because of what you all helped us build along the way. It didn't happen overnight. This is not something that we snapped our fingers
Right,
and the
right,
program
right.
became what it is. So it takes a lot of hard work and a lot of commitment and dedication.
Absolutely. So I know that Georgia Tech is a top program in the MCLA. Can you explain like what the MCLA really is?
Sure, we like to look at ourselves as the premier non-varsity, college lacrosse experience. Obviously, there's a lot of Division One, Division Two, and Division Three NCAA programs out there, but there's also a lot of programs that don't have varsity on their campus, namely
Yeah.
Georgia Tech. And so it's a a congregation of basically all those programs coming together. We have 9 conferences across the United States. Even have a team out of Canada. And we're basically the big difference is that we're, not under varsity or under athletics, that most of us are
Yeah.
under campus recreation. And again, there's just such a growth in the sport that, I mean, the reason we're so successful as an organization is there's just kids that want to play and they don't maybe want to go to a varsity experience, or maybe they're not good enough. Some are, some aren't, but they just want to find a place to play still in college. And that's where we come in and hopefully fill that void.
Absolutely. What are the differences between like the D1, D2, D3 experience?
In terms of NCAA or versus MCLA?
Just NCAA versus MCLA, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the big things are what they probably have access to,
Mhm.
whether it's the trainers full time, whether it's tutors full time. They're probably
Yeah.
practicing 5, 6 days a week. Most MCLA programs are probably 2 to 3, maybe 4.
Yeah.
We have to fundraise. Almost all of our programs have to fundraise, do their own scheduling, their own travel details, their eligibility, recruiting players, finding coaches. So all those things that are sort of housed inside of an athletic program, our
Mhm.
student athletes get that really hands-on experience because they're having to deal with that themselves. I mean, it's not
Right.
being handled by an admin on campus. I mean, these kids
Right.
really have to get their hands dirty and figuring out what it takes to sort of run a business, basically.
Right. So how like do you recruit kids to Georgia Tech? Or only like do they go to Georgia Tech and then like decide they want to play club lacrosse or lacrosse at Georgia?
Yeah, it's very rare that we have a kid who sort of walks on, so to speak.
Yeah.
We have a very active, we have an alumni and one of our coaches who are committed to the recruiting portion, and we have a big giant spreadsheet. I mean, obviously Georgia Tech is very difficult academically to get into, and so for us to find kids that academically fit the Georgia Tech standards and are good lacrosse players, it's very different. I mean, it's hard, and so we work
Right.
really diligently. But again, here's another difference between NCAA and MCLA is that we don't get any help in on admissions. I mean, our kids have to get in on their own valor. Like they have to be able to, get in their own grades, whatever. I can't call admissions and be like, hey, let Johnny in because he's really good.
Right.
So we really have to work hard at making sure we evaluate, SAT scores, ACT scores, all that kind of stuff to find out what's their chance of getting in, and then us pursuing them. Now, if they do get in, we have a pretty good return rate because the kids want the education at Georgia Tech. I mean, we're a top engineering school in the country. These kids get
Right.
out and make a lot of money one day, and so a
Yeah.
lot of them are looking at that opportunity over maybe an NCAA opportunity
Lacrosse.
because,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
exactly, because that's going to provide
Yeah.
them something better down the road.
Absolutely. And that's a big thing too. Like right now, if you think about it, pro lacrosse is honestly, I don't think, maybe not worth going to, maybe not going there, but like it's a lot tougher than most people would think because the best players in the world are getting paid max $50,000 a year. And later, that's not going to be like enough when you have a big family. Especially so like if you can go into a great school and maybe not play as great as lacrosse, that'll be probably better for you down the road because you could probably get into a better job and it'll all just work out that way.
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly you're spot on. It's no shame to the PLL or guys that want to
Yeah,
play pro lacrosse. There's a lot of them here in Atlanta, obviously, but yeah, it's a short-lived thing. I mean, with your body and your age and everything else,
yeah,
so you better have something to fall on because that's eventually what's going to carry you for the next 40 years, not the next 4 years.
absolutely. So what are your facilities like at Georgia Tech? Like, do you get issued gear or stuff like that?
Yeah, we have a nice being in the city, we're right in the heart of Atlanta. There's not a lot of field space. And so we have a very
Yeah,
nice rec field, just got returfed this past year. Our alumni actually paid to build stands. We have a really cool video or a giant scoreboard. That's really nice. It adds to the environment. In terms of gear and all
yeah,
that, like we have a deal with Warrior and New Balance as a
okay,
program. And so, the kids get, I mean, they're issued everything. I mean, the gloves,
yeah,
sticks. I mean, that's the school's really good to us as well in terms of funding they give us, and so that
yeah.
helps us pay for the uniforms, the sticks, the shafts, string kits. So yeah, it's a little different than NCAA, but at the same time, our school is very very good to us. They give us a
Right.
very nice budget, so I can't complain.
That's awesome. What is your favorite piece of gear that Georgia Tech has? Like personally, what's your favorite like uniform on game days to helmets and all
It's all
that?
yeah, it's the gold domes. We have the
Yeah.
shiny chrome gold helmets. We actually just switched to Warrior helmets this year, and their gloves, and it's even a better chrome than the Cascade. I mean, it blings. If you see any pictures online, it is way brighter than the Cascade chrome
Really?
gold for sure.
That's cool. That's awesome. Yeah, you like to shine. I have a gold lacrosse set that's chrome and it's really bright because our colors are gold and navy. So it's cool. That's why I got the head. Um,
Bright colors then.
yeah. What kind of player tends to thrive in the Georgia Tech program?
One who's pretty well motivated and can handle time management. Again, it's a tough school to be at academically, and so you got to be able to handle group projects, senior design, labs, all that kind of stuff that goes into being an engineering student or computer science, business, whatever it may be. I mean, that's who thrives, the ones who know how to handle their time management skills. Have a real initiative to get work done and to be motivated. And so
Yeah.
I mean, you have to. I mean, it's a competitive environment at Georgia Tech. All these kids are competing for really good jobs, and so I think being a lacrosse player probably helps these kids a lot because they know what it's like to work in a team and what it's like to have a common goal and to
Right.
work towards that common goal. And so those are the kind of kids when they come in. Our kids all think very much alike. The engineering brain just thinks
Yeah.
differently, and they instantly bond from all over the country because I think they just have a common sort of common fields with each other when they meet each other.
Absolutely. I take a pre-engineering class at my school, and the class is so fun. Like we're gonna build rockets and race cars, and we just finished like a airplane unit and like how they fly and stuff. So it's really cool class.
Yeah, we have aerospace majors on our team.
Yeah,
Speaking of that, I mean, we got the wide gamut, but they're all going to do pretty amazing things. We have a bunch of guys who work for SpaceX and things like that. So our kids
that's
are out there
cool.
doing a lot of great stuff.
That's awesome. What's the atmosphere like for a big Georgia Tech lacrosse game?
We'll find wait, the biggest one occurs every other year. It's when we host Georgia.
Okay.
And so we had Georgia on campus 2 years ago, and minimum 2,000 people there,
Wow.
probably more than that. And so it's kind of neat because we play next to a parking deck. And so
Okay.
the parking deck will be lined with all the fraternity kids up top. We have
Mhm.
our stands and the sidelines are packed. So we play them in 2 weeks at home on April 4th.
Oh,
And
that's insane.
I
That's
expect there to
insane.
be no less than another couple thousand. An average game, we'll still get, 700, 800 people out there, especially on a Friday night if we're
Yeah.
playing somebody. So those are fun. So it just depends on the day, the time, the opponent. But
Yeah.
we can have some really good crowds out there, and I
That's
expect a really good
awesome.
one.
Yeah, that April 4th game, that's Saturday, maybe I think before Easter Sunday. That's going to be a big
Yep.
game. And that's going to be a
Easter
big
Eve.
game.
Yep. It'll be
Yeah,
exciting.
that's going to be awesome. So I know that you've had an incredible run at Georgia Tech, coaching there for like over 30 years. How has the program changed over time there?
I think, we talked about earlier, it's really just what resources we've had developed since then, and
Yeah,
obviously the skill. I mean, the skill level of lacrosse players now is crazy. I mean, we had some really good athletes, some really good players back in the day, but again, they come back now and they see the level of where lacrosse is, and it blows their mind, and it blows minds too. And I still think about just how good lacrosse is. I mean, I was watching my son play this weekend
yeah,
at a middle school game, and I mean, just the skill level kid of a sixth, seventh, eighth grader is astonishing now compared to what it probably what it was 20 years ago. And
yeah,
so it's just amazing to see how great the sport's growing, how many great coaches there are, and how much time kids are like yourself that are committing to the sport,
yeah.
hitting the wall, shooting on the cage, doing ground ball drills just to make their game just that much better.
I know. And a big thing of like that is like evolving sport is like I think watching PLL and college lacrosse, like even most coaches say hitting the wall, but I think another big thing is like actually getting on TV and watching games to like see how specific players can develop your game. Like I know one person is Lucas Littlejohn, on Richmond, University of Richmond. He like his inside finishing is so good, and it's gotten watching like his even in person because it's like right down the road. Watching him like be able to catch the ball and shoot it within like a second is just so crazy, and that's one thing that I like really try to work on, because it'll help my game a lot.
Yeah, I mean, again, the way the kids are getting bigger, faster, stronger, you can't hold the ball a whole lot longer than that because it's going to be you're getting
Yeah,
checked or the ball's falling out. So yeah, you are right. It's
absolutely.
watching other players play is obviously a really good tidbit for any young players. Don't just focus on yourself. Look at other videos and see what you can gain, what knowledge you can gain from those players, and it can only help your game.
Absolutely. So now you've had so much success winning seven Southeastern Lacrosse Conference championships and two MCLA national championship appearances and over 300 wins. What's been one of the most memorable wins during your time coaching at Georgia Tech?
Ugh, I hate to say it, it's probably none of the wins, it's the losses. I mean, we lost two national championships in the last 3 years. I mean, we've been right there and we've lost both of them. So I would have to mention those are the most memorable to me because it
Yeah,
kind of inspires you more as a coach in a program to figure out what we have to do to get over that hump to get that national title. So, I
yeah,
mean, all the wins over the years, a lot of them are really, exciting and memorable, and you love it. But at the end of the day, I hate to say it as a coach, I'm the guy who focuses on the losses, trying to figure out how we can avoid
yeah,
that in the future.
absolutely. Yeah, hopefully this year you can pull out a title. That'd be awesome. That'd be so sick. Um, what were you feeling when you won 2025 MCLA National Coach of the Year?
I think it's just a real testament to our staff. I'm really lucky that I've got five guys on my staff that are really committed to helping our program between face-offs, goalies, recruiting,
Yeah,
on field, off field. Like it's just a testament to the work they put in. So certainly, obviously, I wish that it came with a national title last year, but
yeah.
we'll take the award. And my dad always gives me grief because I kind of shun it away a little bit because I don't want it to be it's not a personal thing because obviously the players are doing so much work staff I have, the alumni. So really just sort of a compliment to all the work those guys or all those people have done, to help our program rise.
Absolutely, that's awesome. It's cool that you have alumni coaching too. Like those are people that have played for you, and now they're with you, and that's like really cool, and that builds a relationship. So that's awesome.
And
Um,
and they know the history and the traditions of what we'd like to do and sort of who we are. So having a younger coach who's a little closer in age of the players can be
yeah,
beneficial.
that's awesome. What are some traditions or team culture pieces that make Georgia Tech lacrosse unique?
It's a good question, and I really think it changes over the years.
Okay, yeah,
We back in the day used to have gummy bear wars, in our vans driving between games where you try to stick a
that's
gummy bear in a van while it's moving. To now we have buses, we have rookie karaoke. So it really depends on the group you have and sort of what traditions they want to sort of build themselves. I've
right.
never been a guy who tries to force too much. I kind of let the players develop sort of their atmosphere of what makes them want to play and want to be a part of that team. I feel like if I try to ram it down their throats, the purpose might get lost in there. So I kind of let them sort of develop that themselves.
Absolutely. And that's a big thing with like the locker room and stuff and like the team culture, which is like what the team brings together. And if everyone's bringing that together, then you'll most likely be able to win more games. So
Right.
What do you want your players to remember most about their college lacrosse experience?
Wow. I would hope that it mirrored what Georgia Tech provides them as an education. I hope when they walk away, they realize they got a valuable thing, a valuable piece to their life. A
Yeah,
degree helps you get on in the job, but I hope they walk away with the friendships and the memories and the idea that lacrosse just added to that, and if not enhanced it, because we try not to be, as difficult on them as academics are. So we hope we're the fun part of college that you got to enjoy. But I think just the ability to be on a team and to carry what that means into your future relationships, future jobs, whatever it is. I think those things are really important. So I really hope that when they look back, they're smiling at their time that they had with Georgia Tech lacrosse.
that's awesome. That's super cool. And like, especially like now that I think about it, most coaches want to keep those relationships with the players. Like I talked with the Notre Dame coach, and he said he is still friends and like has relationships with all of his players, like going back way back. And that's like one thing. If I ever start coaching, that's one thing I would try and pursue too. Like, is to build those relationships and to keep them going on. Because maybe like you have the alumni that are coaching with you, and that's awesome. Um,
Yep, it's
if a top MCLA team like Georgia Tech played lacrosse, played a mid-tier NCAA D1 team, what do you think the game would look like?
I don't think it would be very pretty, honestly. Those guys are, I mean, again, the amount of times they get to practice, the amount of times they get weight room time together, the amount of film they get I mean, they just get more access. Our kids are very talented. They come out of some very talented programs. But at the end of the day, I still think there's a pretty large gap. It doesn't mean that some of our teams in the NCAA and say in our top 10 wouldn't
Yeah,
compete with some of them. And I know a lot of them scrimmage Division 3 teams and Division 2 teams and do very well. We scrimmage against Division 2 and 3 teams in the fall every year and have had a very good success rate against them. Again, it's fall ball. I don't know what you can take from it. But I think especially at the Division 1 level of NCAA, those guys are pretty special players.
yeah.
That's a really, I mean, kudos to all those guys.
Absolutely. Yeah, those guys, if you go to D1, you just know that you've put in the work, you've put in the academics, and you finally reached your destination. So now you just got to enjoy those 4 years.
Right.
Um, do you think some MCLA players are good enough to play NCAA but choose the club route instead?
No, for sure. I mean, we have a number of kids every year who transfer in from NCAA programs to MCLA. Maybe they want to change a culture. Maybe they just want a different look in school.
Yeah.
Maybe they like we have a kid transferring in next year from Manhattan who plays there because it's the degree he wants to pursue. He wants to get the Georgia Tech degree. And so, there are a lot of kids who transfer back and forth for that matter too, by the way. There are a number of kids who've left the NCAA and gone to NCAA programs. Probably more of the latter, though, more the previous part. I mean, there's more that transfer from NCAA to MCLA than the other way around. But there are a lot of kids in MCLA that clearly can play at NCAA. But again, maybe this is not the school for them. Maybe they want to, like I said, maybe they want to be out west. So they can go skiing more, things like
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
for every kid, there's a different reason why they choose the route they choose.
Absolutely. What's something MCLA players have to do better than NCAA players because they don't have scholarships or full-time staff?
Yeah, it goes back to I think what we were discussing earlier in terms of like how much they have to handle administratively. Like I said, I mean, they've got to figure out dues. They've got to go to school and figure out budgets. They've got to figure out where to buy their uniforms from.
Yeah.
How they gonna travel to a game? Bus, vans, cars. Like they have a lot more on their plate that way. And again, it's especially being a college student, like how are you going to manage your time? Like how are you going to manage your group projects, all that kind of fun stuff on top
Right.
of the fact that you have to figure out when practices are for MCLA programs. It could be,
Yeah.
hate to say, some of them practice at 9, 10 o'clock at night because that's when the field's available. Some have to practice at 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning because that's when the field's available. So,
Right.
there's a lot more for them to sort of navigate is probably the easier way of saying it, as
Yeah.
opposed to the college athlete at NCAA school who sort of it's sort of laid out for them. They just got to follow
Right.
the script.
Absolutely. But I feel like D1, like they get it laid out, but if you have to be able to compete every day. Otherwise, you're gonna lose your spot or something is not gonna go your way.
Right.
Um, have you ever had players who could have played NCAA but chose Georgia Tech because of academics or the experience?
We had a lot that maybe choose between us and MIT, for instance,
Yeah.
who's a D3 program. So there's a lot that will, make that decision of whether they want to go up north to Boston or stay down in the South where the weather's a lot nicer. So that's a common one for us. But there's others mixed in there as well, whether it's a Bucknell or some other programs where they also have good engineering programs that kids have an opportunity to go varsity. So there are definitely some that we've had over the years, and it
Yeah.
probably occurs. Probably at least, I mean, at this point, it's a little more common just because, again, we're all fighting for sort of the same student athlete, a kid that
Yeah.
can academically perform, and also athletically perform on the field.
Absolutely. And that's one thing that like especially in the D3 world, like a lot of D3 schools are looking for kids that can play lacrosse but also are really smart and will help that D3 school like get both. Like I feel like D3 and D2 are kind of the similar and they both want like kind of half and half. While MCLA or yeah, MCLA is more like you need to be able to perform in the academics and then lacrosse will just come second nature. Um so that's just kind of like how I think about it.
Yeah, and that kind of also help them get grants and other opportunities at D3 schools to
Yeah.
help pay for college, things like that. So yeah, I mean, any one of your friends or buddies, like I, pine away with my son as well. I mean,
Yeah.
academics is going to carry you a lot further than lacrosse will ever carry you.
Absolutely. That's so true. Do you think the transfer portal will eventually blur the lines between MCLA and NCAA talent?
It's a really good question because we do talk about that a lot. That some of these rosters are getting so big at the NCAA level that more kids are going to start probably moving elsewhere, maybe MCLA schools, whatever. So with more kids playing and less spots to be played and more competition for those spots at NCAA programs, I think there's going to be a nice windfall for the MCLA of some really talented players that are going to find out that our level of lacrosse is
Right.
a really great opportunity for them, and especially
Right.
being a real true student athlete. Like I said, they're gonna have to do a lot of admin stuff and
Yeah.
things like that that a college athlete won't do at NCAA school. And
Yeah.
those are only going to benefit that kid in the
Absolutely.
real world one day.
Absolutely. That all the extra things that they have to do, that's gonna help them on to become like better people. Like they can be able to handle more, they'll have more responsibilities, and that'll help them, like you said, in the real world.
Yep.
Um, absolutely. So have any of your players gone to play in the PLL?
No, we haven't gotten that close. I know back when uh the other outdoor league was here previously, we had some kids try because we had the Atlanta Blaze team that was here in
Okay.
Atlanta, and we had a goalie and a couple of defensemen that did pretty well in the trials, didn't quite make the roster, but they
Yeah.
weren't too far off of it.
Yeah,
But
that's
end of the
cool.
day, I'm not really sure, even if our kids were talented enough, a lot of them, when they get into that real world experience, it's tough for
Right.
them with that travel schedule for a PLL player to maybe even,
Yeah.
do it maybe.
I know. So a big part of this podcast is getting people excited about lacrosse and growing sport. And it seems like you're really building the sport through Northside Youth Lacrosse. Can you tell me like a little bit more about that program?
Sure, it's a program we have here in Atlanta. It's basically located just north of Atlanta in the Buckhead area. If you know anything about Atlanta, there's a 285 loop that goes around the city. So call it inside the perimeter or outside the perimeter. And our program is primarily inside the perimeter players. It's a K through eighth grade lacrosse program. It has a rec side of it and a travel side to it called Surge Select, which plays. And we don't have an extensive group. I mean, it really starts from like a U10 to like a U14 group. We have
Yeah.
basically four teams. But we have over 500 boys and girls in the rec league that participates on the weekends, and we play in-house. Something fun we started this past year was we basically each team has a college name to it. So they have uniforms that are, say, Notre Dame colored or Syracuse colored or Virginia
That's
colored. And
cool.
so the kids really rally around it and love, say, they're representing, Virginia or
Right.
whoever,
Right.
Syracuse. And so when they're playing, like this weekend, I was watching games. I was watching Michigan play Ohio State. Kind of fun, for
That's
our kids to do
awesome.
that. So it's a lot of fun. We have some great coaches, so many people that actually played in college at a high level who now live in Atlanta. Actually, two of my former players are coaching in it with their kids. So it's kind of fun to see
Yeah, that's
now at
fun.
the age where their kids are playing. So it's really fun for me to see that.
That's so fun. Did your son play for them?
Not anymore. He is actually, I'm sorry, he does play for our junior elite team that plays in the middle school league.
Yeah.
But he's more playing middle school now. Once they kind of get to that seventh, eighth grade, a lot of those
Yeah.
kids are moving on to their middle schools.
Yeah.
And he's too old. We don't have a team his age for our travel, so he plays for Thunder here in Atlanta.
Oh yeah, Thunder. Yeah, for sure. I
Yep.
know them. Yeah. We
Yep.
played against Thunder a while ago, but I've seen Thunder out a bunch in a bunch of tournaments.
Yeah, I'm excited because he's going to play two back-to-back tournaments in Maryland this summer. So I get to
Really?
go home. I haven't been back to Maryland in a number of years. So I'm excited to go back to have some crabs and
Yeah,
see like Annapolis and places like that and show him that area. So real
yeah,
excited to get back up north.
yeah. It's gonna be awesome. Well, now I'm gonna do rapid fire, which is just like a quick question, quick answer. Um,
Sure.
all right. Favorite place to eat in Atlanta?
Bone Steakhouse,
Okay.
best.
Hardest team to play in the MCLA?
Well, for us the last couple of years has been Liberty, who beat us in the national championship. So Liberty and
Yeah.
South Carolina are the two that give us the most fits for sure.
Okay. Favorite Georgia Tech tradition?
The Rambling Wreck for sure. I love the old Model T4 that drives around and maybe see it at football games, but love
Okay.
the Rambling Wreck.
Yeah. One word to describe your coaching style.
Ooh. Game day intense, practices a little more laid back.
Okay. Best jersey combo your team wears.
I'm partial to navy. I like the navy, navy top, navy bottom with the gold and white accents. It's just and to me it looks better with the chrome helmet.
Absolutely. Best face-off guy you've seen.
Oh, I think Lundeen out of Utah Valley. He's
Okay.
still actually there at Utah Valley because he's an unbelievable threat offensively, and at the face-off X. But I do have to shout out for our guy, the kid Holland Frost, who played for us, who
Yeah.
actually used to play in the football team. And I mean, I think he ended his career with like over 80% face-off wins, but he was also dominant
Wow. That's
offense.
insane. That's
I
insane.
mean, he was a dominant face-off guy.
That's awesome. Most important stat besides goals.
To me, clearing percentage.
Oh, okay. I would have thought you would say assists. I'm kind of going off of that. Tougher to coach, offense or defense?
Nowadays, defense.
Oh, okay. Most important quality in a captain.
I think humility.
Okay.
To be self-aware of yourself. I think those are things that are really important for a captain.
Yeah. Dream non-conference opponent.
In the MCLA, I would say probably Oregon. We've never played them, but always love their color combinations and all the
Yeah,
uniforms they have. So it'd be fun to play Oregon. We've never played them.
that's awesome. What wins more games, talent or chemistry?
Ooh, can I have a little of both?
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
I definitely want to have some talent. You definitely want to have some talent, but yeah,
yeah,
you got to have chemistry. You got to be on the same page together.
yeah,
If you're not on the same page, it's hard to win.
yeah. Favorite thing about coaching at Georgia Tech?
The players by
Okay.
far.
College football or NFL?
College.
College? Okay, yeah, same here, same here. If you weren't coaching lacrosse, what sport would you be coaching?
Probably basketball because I think the sports are so similar.
Yeah,
I would say basketball.
basketball. And then lastly, your go-to karaoke song.
Oh, you've got friends in low places.
Oh, okay. That's awesome. Well, that's all I got. Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. It was awesome talking to you.
Well, thank you for the time. I'm sorry the sun is setting in my office and
Oh,
casting all
it's,
sorts of shadows on me.
it's all right.
Doing a
Yeah,
great
well,
job.
thank you.
Keep up the great work, and
I
hopefully we'll
will.
cross paths one day.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. And, I'd like to stay in touch if I ever need anything, I'll reach out. Um,
Anytime.
Thank you so much. Have a great night.
Thanks. You do the same.
All right. Thank you.